What's up, it's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and today we got the U.S. men's national team U20 roster for the Revelations Cup. Did the Federation finally get everything together and release it? No. Do you remember how last time I said Malick Sanogo was confirmed by the roster, but not by any official reports? He himself leaked it. Well, Malick Sanogo did it again, and he released the full roster. Man, I love this guy already, so yeah. Going into the team, we got Borto and Gabe Slonina in net. In defense, we got Justin Shea, Jacob Greene, Kobi Henry, Jalen, Neal, Kaden Pierre, and Casey Walls and Caleb Wiley. In the midfield, we got Paxten, Aaronson, Kaden Clark, Daniel Edelman, Jeremy Garay, Daniel Leyva, Diego Luna, Jack McGlynn, Rokas Pukstas, probably butchered that name. And up top, we got Cade, Cowell, Brian Gutiérrez, Missael Rodriguez, Malick Sanogo, Dante and Quinn Sullivan. I'll go into everybody a bit deeper later, but it's awesome to have the roster together. A lot of good players. Some guys who miss out. I want to say, despite it being a U20 roster, technically, this is a 2003 group. So no players who are like 19, like Shitaro and Dunze and others. And out of the 2003s who miss out, Ricardo Pepe, he missed out because he's in the senior team. And I did want to give a shout out to Joe Scaley, who was born on December 31st, 2002. Which I want to say is unlucky for him, but if he was eligible for this team, he'd probably be in it. So maybe it's a good thing. Jonathan Gomez misses out due to the USL playoffs, though Henry and Luna are both starters on USL playoff teams, and they're here, so yeah, not sure about that. Kevin Paredes and Moses Nyman are injured for DC United. And for dual internationals, we miss Brian Oko, he's not in the squad, Anthony Leon, and Christian Torres are some who are included for Mexico. The only unexplained absence that we really have is Mauricio Cuevas. He's a right back who looks very promising. He's in between clubs at the moment, but so maybe fitness issues are a thing, but he's another dual international, but he's not with Mexico, so I don't know. So now going into all of these players, just wanted to give a shout out to David Kerr. He's a huge help for most of these players because it's tough to watch academy games. So, really the only guys who have a lot of experience with are, Kaden Clark, Cowell, the Union players, MLS guys who are, actually playing. So, in net, we've got Gabe Slonina. Very good shot stopper for Chicago Fire. He's already starting in the MLS at 17. He's actually a 2004 guy playing up. He's a very well-rounded keeper, solid with his feet, solid in the air. Good control over his box, very promising player who's only going to get better. So Gabe Slonina is someone really exciting. The other goalkeeper we brought is Borto. He's playing in Fulham at the moment, and he's apparently their third choice goalkeeper right now. Again, he's 17, already playing for the U23s. It looks very solid. The only real action that I've been able to see him in is at his high school, which I know about him a little bit because he's went to the same high school as one of the players from a college video I did a while back. So he obviously looks very good at a high school level. But I'm hoping to see both these guys in action. Two very promising goalkeepers. Next, at the center back, we've got Justin Shea. Man, great prospect, interest from FC Bayern. Something I feel like we know about Justin Shea at the moment. Something interesting is he might play right back for this group. I feel like he's more naturally a center back, but there's only one right back call up, and Shea seems like he'd be the guy there. I'm not sure. He's been a lot better at right back than I thought he would be. I thought FC Dallas was just kind of throwing him there just to get him some minutes, but he's been attacking very well. So maybe that is his future. A little disappointing because we're kind of stacked at the right back position, but hey, if he's doing well and he does great, that's good for him. Next, the rest of our center backs are all kind of USL level players. Not much film on them, but Casey Walls from San Jose, left-footed center back, a lot of time in the USL. He could be a solid prospect, but again, it's kind of early to tell for a lot of these center backs. Center backs is a position where you kind of get better with age. So, yeah, Casey Walls, he looks solid enough, but nothing really to write home about. Same with Jalen Neal, though he's a right-footed center back. Might be our other starter should Justin Shea play right back. But another USL guy. And lastly, Kobi Henry. Jalen Neal's at LA Galaxy. And Kobi Henry, who's at Orange County FC, a USL team. He's starting for them. He got them into the playoffs. Again, not too much to talk about there. Just this solid USL guy. All these guys obviously have high ceilings. They wouldn't be here if they didn't, but like nothing like a Justin Shea or a Gabe Slonina where they're already getting like real game time. Next, the right back, Kaden Pierre out of Sporting Kansas City. I mean, he's in the USL. He's got one Leagues Cup appearance, which I feel like Sporting Kansas City just threw that game, I think. And, nothing really to write home about yet, but he's obviously talented if he's here. Next, Caleb Wiley from Atlanta. He's a USL player. Again, this is going to be a theme among defenders. He seems to be George Bello's successor at Atlanta when George Bello does move on, so promising. And he is a young player playing up with the group. But because of his age, he might not be as strong as the other players. But, again, solid prospect. Probably the best prospect outside of Justin Shea in the defense here. And the other left back is Jacob Greene from DC United, another USL player, behind Kevin Parody at left back for DC United. So if he moves on, you'd expect Greene to get a lot more playing time. But, yeah, not too much to talk about there. Kind of an unremarkable list for the defenders. Next in the midfield, and this is where things get a lot better. Starting off defensive midfielders for the six, we've got Daniel Leyva of Seattle. He's a smart player, high soccer IQ. Physically, a bit slower. I don't want to say weak because he has been playing within the MLS, so it is kind of standing out, but I feel like he's 6'2" and he seems to be growing into his body. From what I've seen with him, there were a lot of complaints about him defensively and his defensive work, but as he's gotten older, that defensive ability has gotten a lot better, and he seems to be a really solid prospect, one of the best players here. Seattle's got a real gem on their hands with him. Next, if you're worried about defense, you've got Daniel Edelman from New York Red Bulls. Only a USL player, but he's a lot more of a defensive player and a pretty solid prospect at the six. And lastly, for the sixes, you got Jeremy Garay from DC United. The El Salvador full international, only in friendly, so he's not cap-tied. Which, I mean, not too high of a level with El Salvador, but still very good to be playing there. USL player as well, but Daniel Leyva is the real star of this. You expect him to be starting. Next, moving into attacking mids, and we got a lot of players to talk about. Paxten Aaronson, he's from Philadelphia. He's been playing the 10. Man, he's great on the ball. He's got an eye for goal. Man, really good dribbler and a very exciting player. He's scored a lot of great goals for Philadelphia. Been starting for them. Someone I'm really excited about. Obviously, he's got his brother Brendan, who's been playing in Europe, starring for the national team. So Paxten Aaronson, he's really someone to look out for. Next, Kaden Clark from New York Red Bulls. We all know about him. Extremely dangerous player. He's going to be going to Leipzig. Man, exciting player to watch. I'm hoping he can get some starts. And yeah, this team's looking very solid. Next, Diego Luna from El Paso. Another USL guy. He's been playing there a lot, leading them to the playoffs. He is a dual international, so it's very good to see him here. A very talented dribbler. He's someone who can be a dangerous attacker, but kind of like a raw player. Still makes a lot of mistakes, Next, going into more of the eights for the team, we got Jack McGlynn from Philadelphia Union. Man, he's very good technically, very good on the ball. He can spray a lot of passes. He's been playing a lot for the Philadelphia Union first team. So yeah, great player there. Defensively and athletically, there's a bit of a question mark, but he's a very talented technical player. And lastly, we've got Rokas Pukstas from Croatia, who's been playing in Croatia. So, from what I can see, I haven't had much film on this guy, but he's a very good player technically, and a bit more of an 8 with defensive work. He's a lot more of more box-to-box type player, but he is only a 2004. He's playing up, and because of that, despite him having the defensive work rate, you won't expect him to athletically be able to contribute very well. Think how John Luca in the Gold Cup, he was doing good work defensively. You see his heart was in it, but just wasn't really happening. But obviously that's going to get better as he gets older, Next, on to wingers, and Cowell is actually listed as a winger, which at his stature and with his abilities, I was kind of surprised on that. But if he's playing as more of an inside forward, you can expect him to do very well. And we all know he's great physically, great on the ball, eye for goal. He's had some great passes in him. Definitely one of the top prospects in this. He was trained with the USA senior team in the Gold Cup before we decided to go with Walker Zimmerman instead of him. So yeah, or not Walker Zimmerman. It was got that other center back who barely got to play. Kessler? I don't think it was Kessler. I don't remember. But yeah, Cowell, very good player. Very excited to watch him. Next, Dante from FC Dallas on loan at PSV. He just got a hat trick for PSV's youth team. He looks extremely promising. Eye for goal. He's a left-footed player. You know how much I like that. Which allows him to play as like an inverted guy on the right-hand side. With him getting more inside, that allows Justin Shea to get forward more if he's playing a right back. Yeah, really excited to watch him. Next, Quinn Sullivan is listed as an attacker, so I'm assuming he's going to be playing on the wing. It's a bit weird because he's been playing more of a 10 for the Union, but if we have Brendan Aaronson, Kaden Clark, that makes sense, and with his talent, you want to have him in the squad. But he's a very good player. He scored a lot of goals. He made a lot of really good contributions for the Union. Excited to watch him. It'll probably be off the bench, but, man, very good player. Man, creative as well. Like, great guy. And lastly, for wingers, we got Brian Gutiérrez from Chicago. He's gotten some MLS time. I actually haven't seen much of him, which is kind of surprising, but very technical player. Athletically, I'm not sure how much he compares to the other guys. I'm not expecting him to get as much playing time, but very solid as well. And last, we got strikers up top. I'll talk about Sanogo last. So, Missael Rodriguez from Chicago. He's someone who's been very good at the youth level. He's been scoring a lot for Chicago's young squads, leading them to a lot of good results, but he has really nothing to know professionally. So, I'm not sure how he'll do against like pro defenders from Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, but I mean, there are things to be excited about, but it's hard to gauge at the moment. And lastly, we got the man of the hour, Malick Sanogo. Man, he's from Union Berlin. He was listed in I think it was a Guardian article of like top 50 young prospects at his age. He's someone we're really excited about. He's a freak athlete, extremely fast. He's got an eye for goal. Man, he's got some work to do on like other aspects of his game, but with how young he is, like he is such a great prospect, such a great talent. I expect him to break into the Union Berlin first team soon. Man, amazing player. I'm really excited about him. And, man, thank him for releasing the squad. So with that, the predicted lineup that I have for this squad, I'd expect it to be Gabe Slonina in net. At right back, either Caden, Pierre, or Justin Shea. Probably Justin Shea, which would leave Jalen, Neal as the right center back, Casey Wallace as the left center back, Caleb Wiley probably at the left back position, Daniel Leyva as the defensive mid, Jack McGlynn at an 8, Kaden Clark. It's probably going to be a Greg Berhalter 4-3-3, so Kaden Clark probably at the other 8. Then I expect Cade Cowell on the left, Dante on the right, and Malick Sanogo starting up top with big contributions from Aaronson, Sullivan, and Edelman off the bench. Man, I'm really excited about this squad. A lot of really promising players, and going to be really fun to watch. Hopefully we get a manager soon. Still don't have one of those. Maybe it'll be out by the time this video goes up, but man, a lot of promising players. Gabriel Slonina, Justin Shea, Daniel Leyva, Kaden Clark, Cade Cowell, Malick Sanogo, all going to be really good guys to watch. You see how they can do against talented players of their own age. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. That's all I've talked about. See you.